When it comes to preparations for an art exhibit, the exhibit space itself is often as important as the art on display. That's certainly the case for an exhibit of icons that opened October 30th, 2011 at Christchurch Cathedral in downtown St. Louis. As a place of worship, the cathedral is enhanced by the thoughtful juxtaposition of classic icons like this, created in the Eastern Orthodox tradition, and the contemporary pieces in the exhibit, Icons in Transformation. So many of your works have eyes. I'm fascinated to know why the emphasis on eyes.
It's true. Eye for me is window of your heart.
The artist is Ludmila Pavlovsky, a native of Kazakhstan, now living in Sweden.
The eyes, universe symbol of mindfulness.
I see you're using a fabric of sorts here?
Yes, it's true. I very often use piece of rough textile canvas and put it together with special structure paste, making three-dimensional paintings, three-dimensional surface. And inspiration came from Veil of Veronica. The legend says when Veronica encountered Christ via Dolorosa along, and when she paused to wipe his sweat of his face, his image was imprinted on her veil.
Icons are representations of religious figures considered sacred by believers. For Pavlovska, whose background is largely landscape painting, it's a dramatic departure and was born of grief caused by the sudden death of her mother.
And it was such a big shock for me. I just couldn't accept it. I couldn't understand it, and I felt it so unfair. So I went to Russia back, and I visited many churches, many monasteries, and I spoke to different priests. I had my questions, but I couldn't get an answer. And icons, they showed me completely new direction.
So did writing. Text from a letter to Pavlovska's mother is included on this sculpture in the exhibit.
This particular piece, I remember it was something happened. It was important for me to tell about my youngest daughter because she never met my mother, and she was born after my mother died.
I did see a lot in this painting. At first I saw a human face, and then someone who I know came in and said, I see a bird. Yes. And I see it right there. So, and this has the eyes and the writing combined.
Even you can see the bird and some wings as a symbol, and maybe my face and another face. And sometimes I actually can cut even through wood and create something, this opening, it's symbol for something unknown, which is behind us, something invisible again. It's opening to something like portal to eternity, to something behind us.
Christchurch Cathedral is one stop on an international tour of the exhibit. The tour was well underway when cathedral officials learned of a potential opening in the schedule.
It's an opportunity to engage our community, to engage the community around the cathedral, including downtown St. Louis. A very good project for a number of venues. So I jumped on a plane and flew to Cincinnati to see the exhibit where it was installed, and it was a spectacular exhibit. One of the things that Ludmila and her husband Jan said, that in North America, this is the first place where they've had the opportunity to suspend the icons between the arches. They were able to do that in European cathedrals, but so far in North America, they hadn't been in a cathedral that had this kind of historic architecture where you can hang the pieces between the arches, and that's a real benefit for them because the pieces were made to be displayed that way because they are composed front and back.
Pavlovska is a child of the Cold War. Her parents, Russian dissidents, exiled to Kazakhstan before she was born. That backstory influenced this bullet-laden work.
The title of this artwork is Against War. And it's important to express my point of view, because you can't solve the problem by killing people. All about its little more face and little less of war. And of course some people, they ask, what is it about, why bullets? I mean, I use different kind of small objects because they're very strong. You can't just pass through. For you it's interesting to see what is it about, and it's about even against some religious fanatics. I mean, nowadays even in the name of religion you can start war. So it's so many questions around, but everything is up to you. You decide. The title of this artwork is Crown of Thorns. It's interesting how people can see different things, and I've heard about different ideas from different people. Someone said, oh, it's about all of us. We are dancing together, we are holding together, and we give big hug together. And just, it's interesting to know, because I'd like to repeat this shape of cross again and again and again.
Icons in Transformation runs through mid-January 2012. Response so far has been quite positive.
As you look at each one, and particularly if you read the title or a little bit about it, it just draws you in.
I belong to another organization that is an art organization, and I think they would very much enjoy if we could arrange for her when she comes back to maybe be a speaker for us. Would be nice.
We have a Russian Orthodox artist who lives in Sweden, whose husband is from Poland, whose kids are Lutheran, and her husband's Roman Catholic, in a Protestant Episcopal cathedral. And at the opening night, we had a Jewish purveyor of art as our opening speaker, as our keynote speaker. It's just an incredibly ecumenical program, which is what we at Christchurch Cathedral are about.
In our life, our society is so changeable. We are not the same as before, all people. So it's opportunity for many people to see the link between the past and the future.